Naomi seems to take shots at WWE. Another indicator that Sasha Banks is gone from WWE. An injured WWE wrestler spotted wearing a heart monitor. And Tony Khan confirms yet another injury for AEW. Hello, welcome to the Solo Sunday News with myself, Andrew Pollard here at What Culture Wrestling. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, follow, share, yada yada, all the good generic stuff. But most importantly, just have a really cool Sunday. Whatever you're doing, if you're doing loads of things, if you're doing nothing, I hope it goes very well. And I hope this doesn't come across too echoey. If you watched last week's Solo Sunday News, you'll have seen I was in the middle of moving house. I'm still not quite out of the old place into the new place. So I'm in an empty room pretty much. Just me, my winged eagle, my coffee, and hopefully not too much of an echo that translates. But hey, wrestling news and Naomi. Now, it's rumbled on for nearly 2 months now. Are they not released? Are they released? Naomi and Sasha Banks, of course. And throughout most of this, Naomi and Sasha have both remained pretty quiet on social media. But Naomi now has taken to Instagram story with a post that many are taking as a bit of a shot at WWE. I have the quote right here. It was an Insta story, so it's one of those where it's gone in the blink of an eye. The moment you put a stop to people taking advantage of you and disrespecting you is when they define you as difficult, selfish, or crazy. Manipulators hate boundaries. So, I mean, she's clearly taking a shot at somebody, clearly making reference to something, and it doesn't take a lot to put two together and possibly get 4, possibly get 576. Who knows, brother? But yeah, some are taking this as being a dig at WWE. Of course, this comes on the back of, I think it was this week. I'm losing track of days, man. Like I said, bit of moving house, so all over the shop. But this comes on the back of this week. It was, PW Insider reporting that Sasha and Naomi have both been finally now removed from WWE's internal roster list. Now, previously, that's basically the list of, I guess think of it as like a chessboard. That's the internal list for WWE is that piece, that chessboard of who is available on the table. And until literally this week, it was Sasha and Naomi, regardless of the reports of them being released by WWE, they were both still classed as on the internal roster. That changed this week. So that's an indicator that maybe the two are finally going to be in WWE. And this, of course, it all dates back to the 16th of May. That was the episode of Raw where before that Raw, Sasha and Naomi were unhappy with the creative plans in place, which at that point in time, it was going to be, it was basically we're going to get to Naomi challenging for the SmackDown Women's title, trying to keep track here, that was held by Ronda Rousey. But to do that, there was talks that maybe she would have to go over Sasha Banks, and then it's like, what happens with Sasha for that? Anyway, the two were unhappy with the creative plans, put the women's tag team titles down on John Laurinaitis' desk, and exited the building. Since then, WWE suspended them, obviously stripped them of those titles, and then also removed all of their merchandise from WWEshop.com. So, then we've had all the reports that Sasha's been released. Oh no, she hasn't. Oh yes, she has. Oh no, it's like a Punch and Judy show, like a pantomime. Like, oh, she's been released. Oh no, she hasn't. And that's the story. It's just rumbled on for literally nearly 2 months now. But to add another nugget to this, another element to this, there's also another indicator that Sasha is indeed done with WWE because. This was picked up on by, I think it was WrestlingNews.co, to give credit there, that Sasha Banks is now no longer an avatar on the Peacock app. Now, previously, users could select Roman Reigns, Asuka, or Sasha Banks as their avatar on the Peacock app. That has now changed. Sasha's been removed recently from that, and those who did have Sasha previously now just have the NBC Peacock logo. So again, this all seems to be just yet another indicator that Sasha's time with WWE is at an end, that Naomi's time with WWE seems to possibly be at an end as well. And also, I guess there was yet another element to add to this, even more, brother, is that in the week, WWE on their YouTube channel posted another video. They basically reloaded an old video of the Page's 10 greatest moments in WWE. And they edited the video so that there was a part previously that showed Sasha Banks. There's no Sasha now. You don't see Sasha. So, yeah, it looks just a matter of if and when. But then again, I could be talking about this on a Sunday in like 2 months' time and things could still be the same. Who knows? It's just one of those stories that's rumbled on. Now, speaking of rumbling on, a story that's rumbled on for the past couple of weeks is the status of Rhea Ripley. And obviously, Ripley's been out of action for the last couple of weeks. It's not, she said herself, it was a brain/teeth issue that's keeping her on the sidelines. And now she's taken social media over the weekend to post herself with a heart monitor on, saying, I am Iron Man, which is always cool to be Iron Man. Hey, philanthropist. That's easy for me to say on a Sunday. Billionaire playboy. Yeesh, I need my caffeine this morning, brothers and sisters. But yeah, Rhea's taken social media with a heart monitor, and I mean, we don't know how long Rhea's going to be out of action, and she is one of clearly a key part of the Raw brand, a key part of the women's division, a key part of WWE period, one of the biggest, best stars they've got, has the potential to be that proper main event draw at some point down the line if handled well by WWE. But yeah, she's been out of action. This goes back to, was it 20th of June? It was the Raw episode where Bianca Belair came out and said that, yeah, Rhea's injured, because originally it was going to be Bianca Belair defending the Raw Women's Championship against Rhea Ripley at Money in the Bank. That would end up being a spot that went to Carmella once Ripley was injured. And it all this seems to date back to the dental surgery that Rhea had just after Hell in a Cell, which the reason for that dental surgery seems to be, it's not been outright confirmed by her, but kind of, where she actually kneed herself in the face. And it's like, that's never cool. And that obviously required dental surgery. And now she's having issues herself that she said is the brain and teeth issues. So, again, it seems like this is all tied back to that. But hopefully she'll not be out of action for too long, because the nightmare's damn good, man. I like seeing Rhea Ripley on my television. I'm still not feeling Judgment Day, but hey, we'll see how things go with that. Now, speaking of people out of action, another person out of action, another person in AEW. Of course, AEW with this growing injury list, it seems, week to week. Like, Danhausen has cursed the roster. Tony Khan has confirmed that Penelope Ford is someone that's injured at the moment. Now, this is in response to somebody on Twitter. I've got it here. At Rockboy JJ said, hey, Tony Khan, so I guess you've given up on Penelope Ford. And Tony Khan replied, because Tony Khan loves to tweet, loves to get on the Twitter replies, which is cool to see most of the time. These replies saying, not at all, total opposite, in fact. She's a great wrestler, and I can't wait until she's medically cleared to come back. She's been in some classic AEW matches, and hopefully she'll be in many more. So Tony Khan confirming that Penelope Ford is out injured, that she is not medically cleared to compete. So that puts her on the list with CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole, Kenny Omega, Lee Johnson, Kyle O'Reilly, Red Velvet, legit Layla Hirsch, Kip Sabian, of course, Penelope Ford's real life husband, who's been seen. He's doing this gimmick that it's like the whole. If you're not aware of this, if you ever watch AEW programming, Dynamite or Rampage or pay-per-views, and you see somebody in the front row or thereabouts with a cardboard bag on their head, that is Kip Sabian. That's his. He's been teasing this. He's been doing this for months now. He's been out of a shoulder injury. So Kip Sabian's another one of those who's on the shelf. So AEW has a growing list of wrestlers out of action. And now Penelope Ford has been confirmed to be one of them. Now, she last competed back in, I did see this earlier, I wrote about it, February the 1st, I believe it was, episode of AEW Dark, which was actually taped on the 15th of January. So she's been out of action now for, let me see what month we're in, July. So getting on for nearly 6 months. So hopefully, again, it'll be sooner rather than later that we see Penelope Ford back in an AEW ring. Now, let's wrap up with some of your questions. Where are we? Hector Garcia III. Hey, Hector. Between WWE and AEW, who would be your top 5 faces and 5 heels to form a Justice League and Legion of Doom? Allow me to introduce you to my daughter's Pooch, Moo. Moo looks very cool. Looks very, very cool. Very chilled. Again, any Sunday, if you wake up on a Sunday, you think, what can I do? Send me pictures of dogs and cats and whatever animals on Twitter. It brightens my Sunday when I'm here working away. Seeing pooches like Moo always puts a smile on my face. So, Justice League, Legion of Doom, 5-on-5, babyface and heels from WWE and AEW. I would go with, what do you class the Blackpool Combat Club as? Bryan Danielson said himself that he's a bad guy. He's still a bad guy. He said that himself on TV when he announced that he couldn't compete at Forbidden Door. So, I would go with, I'm going to split the Blackpool Combat Club. I'm going to go with CM Punk. I'm going to go with Jon Moxley. I'm going to go with Thunder Rosa, Bayley as the hugger, and I'm going to go with Riddle. Ooh, if it's a babyface Sami Zayn, that's a lot of time for babyface Sami Zayn back in the day in NXT. So yeah, I'm going to go with Punk, Moxley, Riddle, Thunder Rosa, and I'm going to go with Hugger Bayley as my 5 Justice League babyfaces. The heels, the Legion of Doom, Roman Reigns is a given. Bryan Danielson is a given. Serena Deeb, Jade Cargill, and then gonna have Ricky Starks in there somewhere, but I'm thinking Miro, Ricky Starks, Ricky's. I'm a Ricky Starks guy, man. But if you did miss it, I got to interview Miro. It's around here somewhere on our channel a couple of weeks ago ahead of Forbidden Door. Lovely fella. Clearly not my close personal friend, as is Ricky Starks. So I'll go with. No, I'll put Miro in there. Starks can be in and around. So we've got a 5. Also in and around Regal. Regal's kind of like the creepy old mentor that's in the corner somewhere with the Legion of Doom. So that's kind of 5 and a couple of +1s for the Legion of Doom. Mark Solid, hey Mark. More than Andrew, happy Sunday. Thoughts on Colt becoming Ring of Honor's general manager? And there's a picture of Apollo. Again, Pooch Pictures always wins me over on a Sunday. Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. I think Colt Cabana, there was stories this week that maybe he was going to be not released from AEW, but his contract wasn't going to be renewed, and that the AEW roster kind of stepped up and went to bat for him to get him renewed, because it's sad to see, man. There's who knows what the status is these days, but him and CM Punk had a very big falling out, and obviously before that they used to be the best of buds, which is the Second City Saints, man. But yeah, I like Colt Cabana. Got a lot of time for Colt Cabana. It's to me, it's still like one of the great modern day wrestling crimes is Scotty Goldman. It's like you've got Colt Cabana, and he was prime Colt Cabana at that point in time, and you bring him in and you make him Scotty Goldman, and even then he was doing his best with stuff on the WWE website, WWE Digital, whatever they called it at the time, and it's like. And they tried him briefly on commentary. It's like, if you're not going to wrestle, the guy can talk his ass off, put him on commentary, but do something with him. You've got this guy who could do so much, and you just do absolutely nothing with him. So yeah, big Colt Cabana fan here. And I would be, obviously, his history with Ring of Honor. I think him and his status in the game now as that wily veteran, who we haven't seen him on TV for a while. Who knows whether he's in the Dark Order still or not. So yeah, I think if Ring of Honor are going to go with an authority figure, then Colt Cabana for me is as good a good a bet as anybody. But first and foremost, we need to know what's happening with Ring of Honor. Obviously, we know there's another pay-per-view on the way now, which is shaping up nicely with the matches we've got, but it's 2 weeks away. It's just before you can start thinking about general managers, before you can start thinking about the AEW, the Ring of Honor TV, the future, the roster. There's so many questions because who signed, who's going to be signed, which old guys are going to be returning, which is in not old guys, but which former Ring of Honor contracted stars are going to be back. Obviously, we've seen a few like Gresham at the Briscoes now that they're coming back to fight at FTR again. Are they going to be signed? There's so many questions. Is Dalton Castle going to get a go? Is Josh Woods, my boy Josh Woods, who's so much fun to watch? There's just all these questions. Silas Young obviously seemed to have kind of a pseudo tryout a couple of weeks ago, as matching his Hangman Page. So there's all these questions about Ring of Honor. When do they get a TV deal? Can they get a TV deal? Is it just going to air on YouTube? So there's loads of questions. But if we're looking at eventually some point there's an authority figure, a long way around of saying the same thing, Colt Cabana, it's a yes from me. Colt Strandhausen, morning Colter. Happy Solo Sunday. May your coffee bless you with caffeine goodness. There you go, brother. I'll swing coffee for the working man. Do you think AEW is driving towards women's tag belts with all the tag teams they've just thrown together? Hashtag Solo Sunday News. I mean, Tony Khan's talked for, it feels like since AEW first started, he's talked about wanting women's tag titles. So, I mean, it's clearly something, it's an idea that's there. He's also talked about how he's got a whole load of belts already made that have yet to be featured on TV. Now, obviously, we've recently had the All-Atlantic title debut. That Pac is now the inaugural champion of that. But yeah, so Tony Khan's got loads of belts made. He's talked about wanting women's titles since year dot pretty much of AEW. So it seems a no-brainer that we're going to get it at some point. It's just when. And also, I don't know, it's a little cluttered for me in terms of the whole title situation with AEW right now, because obviously you've got the AEW World title, you've got the Atlantic title that I just talked about, you've got the TNT title, you've got the TBS title, you've got the women's title, you've got the tag title, you've got the ROH tag titles, you've got the AAA tag titles, you've got the ROH World Champion, you've got the ROH Pure Champion, you've got the possibility of trios titles that everybody always talks about. So it's like, I'm all for a women's tag team division properly, I'm all for a women's tag team titles, but I think you need to shift some of those other titles out of the way for a little bit. I mean, obviously, Ring of Honor, if and when something happens with that, then that's where that takes away the ROH tag titles, the Pure title, and the World title. Obviously, the Ring of Honor TV title as well, Samoa Joe. There we go. There's another title. The AAA tag titles aren't going to be on FTR forever. So I just think at the moment, when you've only got so long, so much kind of main TV time to play with, 3 hours a week basically with Rampage and with Dynamite. I'm not counting Dark, and I'm not counting Dark Elevation. I watch those shows, but it's the broader audience doesn't. It's what's on main TV is what counts. So I think with 3 hours to play with and whatever it was, like 12 titles, I think I came up with there. I think you need to be careful, and you don't want to you don't want everybody to have a title, because that's when titles become even more meaningless than they become in pro wrestling for the last 20 years, 30 years. So you don't want it to be like everybody. FTW title as well. My boy Ricky Starks, love him to bits. Love Team Taz, but that's another title. So, geez, I'm just thinking of these as I'm going along. So, yeah, it's you don't want it to be like everybody feels like they've got a title belt. That's my only concern. But there's enough talent there. I trust Tully Khan to book a women's division, a tag team division. I think. I mean, tag team wrestling is what AEW does best. People question sometimes the use of the women in AEW, and there have been issues there, but the talent is there. So, I mean, just in terms of tandems, you've got Thunderstorm recently, Thunder Rosa, Tully Storm. You've got Athena, Chris Statlander. You've got Jade's Baddies. You got Mercedes Martinez again, the ROH Women's Championship, another title. You got Mercedes Martinez and Serena Deeb, but that seems to be more of a temporary pairing because they're clearly going to feud together, or at least have a match together. Deeb's going to challenge for that belt. I fully expect that for pay per view. Nyla Rose, Marina Shafir. Jamie Hayter, hey, how awesome is she? And you compare her with Rebel or with Britt Baker. We had an interview with her a couple of months ago, and she talked about how she wants to see AEW women's tag team titles. Penelope Ford and the Bunny, talking about Penelope Ford before. So there are plenty of teams there, and you can make more teams in a natural way. So yeah, I'm all for it. A long answer. Sorry, it's a Sunday. I've had lots of caffeine. But yes, I'd be for women's titles, tag titles in the right circumstance at the right time. And with that, this is the right time to wrap this up. Truth be told, I probably should have wrapped this up like minutes ago, but hey, it's Sunday. It's been a long week. I've got lots of coffee, but I hope your Sunday goes very cool. Like I said before at the beginning of this, whatever you're doing, if you're doing something, if you're doing nothing, if you're in an echo chamber of a room, working away on a Sunday, I hope it all goes super cool for you. I've been Andrew Paul here at What Culture Wrestling. Be sure to come and follow us at What Culture WWE on the Twitter. Follow me if you want. I cannot promise it'll be entertaining. At Cultured Left Peg. Just to like, subscribe, comment, share, blah, 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 blah. And I will be back next Sunday when I'll be in a far more suitable work location that hopefully does not have an echo. Have a good one.